Imagine you're sitting in traffic. Same commute, same playlist, same coffee going cold in the cup holder. And then your phone blows up. Not a notification. Not a news alert. Every phone around you, every car radio, every screen on every building. All of it screaming the same emergency broadcast at the exact same moment. That's not a movie scene. That's the opening chapter of what modern warfare actually looks like when it catches civilization mid-stride. Before we get into this, if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now and smash that like button. We're about to go deep into something most people have never actually thought through, and trust me, you don't want to miss where this goes. So let's set the scene properly. It's 8:47 in the morning. London, New York, Sydney, pick your city. Highways are packed. Subways are sardine cans. Airports are running their first wave of departures. Office buildings are filling up floor by floor. Schools are doing attendance. Hospitals are mid-shift change. And somewhere, a political situation that's been simmering for months just boiled over. Missiles are in the air. Or maybe they're not yet. Maybe it's cyber first. Either way, the word comes down. This is real. What actually happens next? Most people picture WW3 as something that starts with a big dramatic moment. A mushroom cloud on the horizon, jets screaming overhead, soldiers parachuting from the sky. But the first 60 minutes of a modern conflict would probably be nothing like that. It would be quieter, and somehow worse. The first thing to go would be information, or more accurately, the trust in it. Social media would be chaos within minutes. Half the posts would be real. Half would be disinformation pumped out deliberately to create panic or paralysis. Government channels would be scrambling to get verified messages out while also trying to figure out what's actually happening themselves. Your phone would probably work for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then cell towers start getting overwhelmed. Millions of people all trying to call someone they love at the exact same second. The network doesn't crash because of an attack. Crashes because of us. Now here's where rush hour makes everything exponentially worse. On a normal day, emergency services are already stretched. Roads are already at capacity. Any incident, a fender bender, a burst water main, causes cascading delays across an entire city grid. Now imagine every single person on every highway deciding simultaneously that they need to get home, get to their kids' school, or get out of the city entirely. Traffic engineers have a term for it. They call it spontaneous evacuation. And their models are not pretty. Studies done after September 11th and various hurricane scenarios showed that uncoordinated mass evacuation attempts can literally gridlock a city for 6 to 10 hours. People run out of gas on the highway. Accidents pile up. Emergency vehicles can't move. The very act of trying to escape creates the trap. And this is before we even factor in what modern warfare actually targets first. Military strategists are pretty open about this in doctrine and published literature. In a major conflict, the first wave isn't always aimed at military bases. It's aimed at infrastructure, power grids, communication networks, transportation hubs. Because if you can freeze a country, stop the trains, kill the internet, cut the power, you've already won a significant psychological battle before a single soldier crosses a border. A city in rush hour is, by definition, a city at its most exposed. Every artery is full. Every system is under maximum load. There is no slack in the machine. Think about what keeps a city running when the lights stay on and the internet stays up. Now start pulling those threads. Gas stations run on electric pumps. Grocery stores run on real-time supply chains. Most carry about 3 days of food. Hospitals run on generators that need fuel deliveries every 48 to 72 hours. Water treatment plants need power to keep water flowing and safe. Everything is fine right up until it isn't. So you're stuck on the highway. Your phone's dead. The radio just cut to an emergency broadcast that keeps repeating the same 40-second message on loop. The guy in the car next to you is out of his vehicle, standing on the asphalt, just staring at his screen like staring harder will make it load. This is hour 2. And here's the thing nobody talks about: the psychological collapse comes before the physical one. Every disaster study, every post-event analysis, every survivor account says the same thing. The moment people stop believing systems will hold, the systems stop holding. It's not the bomb that empties the shelves. It's the fear that one might fall. Let's talk about what governments actually have planned for this, because they do have plans. They're just not exactly reassuring when you read them closely. Most Western nations have continuity of government protocols. Designated bunkers, emergency communication systems, prepositioned resources in strategic locations. The UK has COBR, the emergency committee that activates during national crises. The US has FEMA frameworks and the presidential emergency action documents that basically nobody outside classified circles has fully read. Australia has its own national emergency management structure under the Department of Home Affairs. These systems exist. They've been tested in simulations. But every single one of them was designed around the assumption that infrastructure is mostly intact and that panic is manageable. Rush Hour removes both of those assumptions before the first official emergency order even gets issued. Here's a scenario that keeps defense analysts up at night, and it's not even the extreme one. A coordinated cyber attack hits 3 major cities simultaneously during morning commute hours. No missiles, no explosions, just power grids flickering off in rolling blackouts. Traffic light systems going dark. Train signaling systems freezing mid-network. Suddenly you've got trains stopped in tunnels. Intersections with no signals in the middle of peak hour. Airports holding every plane on the ground because their systems can't confirm safe airspace data. And emergency services trying to navigate through cities that have turned into parking lots. No one's been bombed. No one's been shot. And yet the city is already functionally paralyzed within 90 minutes. That's not a worst-case scenario. That's actually a conservative model based on existing infrastructure vulnerability assessments. Now what about the people who are prepared? The ones who have a go bag, a plan, a meeting point for the family? Honestly, they're in better shape. But not as much better shape as they think. Having 3 days of water and a battery radio is genuinely useful. Knowing your family's rally point matters. Having cash on hand when card machines go down, that's practical thinking. But most prep culture focuses on the individual. And individual survival in a civilizational crisis is only half the equation. The communities that historically fare best in catastrophic events aren't the ones with the most individual stockpiles. They're the ones where neighbors already knew each other, where there was an existing web of trust and communication before everything went sideways. The research on this goes back to Hiroshima. It goes through Hurricane Katrina. It shows up in every major disaster anthropology study written in the last 50 years. Your neighborhood is your actual survival infrastructure. So what's the honest takeaway here? WW3 starting during rush hour wouldn't just be bad because of the conflict itself. It would be bad because modern cities are engineering marvels that run on razor-thin margins. They're optimized for efficiency, not resilience. And rush hour is the moment when every single one of those thin margins is already maxed out. The fragility isn't a secret. It's just something we collectively agree not to think about too hard, because the alternative is sitting in traffic every morning genuinely contemplating how many single points of failure are holding your entire day together. And maybe that's the thing worth sitting with after watching this. Not panic, not paranoia, just awareness. The systems around you are impressive. They're also more delicate than they look. And the version of you that's thought about this even once is already in a different position than the one who never did. If this made you think, and I genuinely hope it did, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. Subscribe if you're not already, because we go this deep on topics like this every single week. Drop in the comments, what city are you in? And honestly, how prepared do you think your area actually is? I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.